You can keep your Eggs Benedict. My first dreamy mouthful of these Turkish eggs, and I was utterly sold. The thing is, I think you have to taste it to understand it. That's to say, a poached egg on garlicky yoghurt with a chili butter sauce on top. But it is not only a revelation, but a complete sensation. That's Greek yoghurt there. I need a clove of garlic that's minced in. And sea salt flakes. I cannot eat eggs without a lot of salt. Although traditionally the yoghurt's cold, I like this to be just above room temperature. I suppose you could say Turkish room temperature. So I've got a pan here of water that's come to the boil and is now just hot. The gentle heat underneath the bowl makes the yoghurt less thick than when it's fridge cold, which is what I want. So that's the garlicky yoghurt, and it can just sit here. And now for the butter sauce. So I need butter. Don't be tempted to have the flame high. Just be patient, it'll happen. If it gets too hot, it'll just spit at you. And this is it, beautiful and hazelnutty. So to this, heat off, I add some extra virgin olive oil. And now my beautiful red pepper flakes, the Aleppo pepper. And as I stir, these foam up fierily. And this will stand very happily while I poach the egg. The water's almost come to the boil, so I'll get my eggs. I always keep eggs out, except when I'm poaching them. I've had a pathological fear of egg poaching for so long that I have devised certain steps that have made me now preternaturally calm when I poach an egg, eager to poach an egg. So, rule 1, fridge cold, it just keeps its shape better. Rule 2, crack the egg into a tea strainer and let the watery bit of white drip off underneath. It's this watery bit of white that, when you poach it, would turn into stringy fluff. I sometimes miss this stage out. I mean, if it's just a poached egg on toast for me in the morning, but Turkish eggs deserve the very best. And now, rule 3, gently transfer the egg to a cup or a ramekin, and instead of adding vinegar to the poaching water, I add, I suppose, about a teaspoon of lemon juice just directly onto the egg white. It makes the white sort of go and hold its shape better. And now, let's see. I'm going to slip the egg in very gently. Make sure your cup is as near to the surface of the water as possible, and then turn the heat down. I don't want to see any movement in the water. I cannot eat Turkish eggs without a hunk of toast to dip in, so toast on, and I want some dill sprinkled over. So peaceful when the water's that low. So while the egg's poaching, and add the yoghurt. Just a few splodges. Don't need too much. And now, gently lift the egg out, drip off a teeny bit of excess water, and there we are, on top of the yoghurt. Perfect. And the sauce, I'm going to pour that both over the egg, but some around the edges of the yoghurt, like a chili butter moat. The dill. My toast. Perfect timing. Oh, and this is just the best breakfast in the world. fully aware that avocado toast isn't a recipe, but it's part of the fabric of my life. I'm ready to eat it no matter what the time of day, but I have to say, it comes in particularly handy for breakfast on those days when you fear that lunch may be later than you'd like. I like Hass avocados, not least because it's easiest with these to tell whether they're ripe or not because the dark green skin, that sort of crocodile skin, goes a purpley black. This is one of my favourite bits, the sound I get when I scrape that last bit of avocado. I love that buttery green flesh in the inside and that slightly brighter green by the skin. If I'm eating this at supper, I like the heady aniseed flavour of coriander, but at other times of day, I like its more delicate cousin, dill. I think part of the point of avocado is that smoothie, rich blandness, but I need salt with that. Just as important for me, I always have to have a squeeze of lime. I know it's breakfast, but let's put a bit of fire in the engine. Some dried chili flakes. And my latest development in avocado toast experimentation, some ginger for extra pep. This is my favoured method, peeling ginger, just with the tip of a teaspoon. And a little sedentary grating. Don't mind me while I mash. My toast of choice is ready and waiting. I can pile this on. I'm all about the pink and green at the moment, and I have some breakfast radishes to crown my avocado toast with. It just is never a bad thing to start the day with something so beautiful. On mornings when I just need to grab and go, it's breakfast bars I want. I've made breakfast bars before, but these are breakfast bars 2.0. So full of seeds that you're going to start sprouting and packed with all manner of smug-inducing nutrients, which I won't go into. I need, for my breakfast bars, to consult my gum bagley section, as some friends of mine call it. And among other things, I will be requiring chia seeds, goji berries, and flax seeds. Bear with me on this. There's no sugar, flour or eggs in these breakfast bars, so you do need something to hold these wondrous ingredients together. And that something is the medjool date, the fruit of kings. Medjool dates have such a wonderful caramelly, treacly taste. The most divine edible glue I can think of. On top of that wonderful pile of torn dates, I need some cinnamon and a generous splosh of water. Might help this a bit. These need to bubble for a few moments, just until they're soft enough to be mashed to a rough puree with a fork. And now, everything else. Some oats. Some chia seeds. These help everything stick together. Plus, they're meant to be improbably good for you. And I'm using cocoa nibs, which give a rather tangy, sharp chocolate flavour and a lot of crunch. Cocoa nibs are really just cocoa beans fragmented. And now some flax seeds. I'm not just using masses of different seeds and other ingredients for the hell of it, but because I want the maximum contrast of chew and crunch in texture. I love the flax seeds. They give a rather gentle crunch. Now, a rather more boisterous crunch, my favourite seed of all, pumpkin seed. And now goji berries. I don't use them just because they're meant to be so fabulous for you, but because I find their colour immensely cheering. And some cornflakes. I'm using gluten-free cornflakes, not because I have anything against gluten personally, but because this makes quite a lot and I like to share them out. If it's gluten-free, it has universal appeal. Mix this together. I know it all sounds a bit Hessian weave, but if I didn't absolutely love the taste of these, I wouldn't be making them. And they are fabulous. Right, now tend to mijuli. It is the most sensational, beautifully scented sludge. And in it goes. I'm going to glove up. The dates are hot and they are very sticky. What I like to do is make a batch of these at the weekend, and then I have fuel for first thing in the morning throughout the week. Now a bit more squidging. "30 minutes in a moderate oven, and then I will be blessed with 16 born-again breakfast bars. Also very handy for a packed lunch, and for me, fantastic for that 4 p.m. slump. I wouldn't be able to count the number of pancakes I've made in over 2 decades as a parent, but these oat pancakes are the house speciality at the moment. Instead of flour, I'm using porridge oats, not instant, that I've blitzed up in a processor with about 2 pinches of salt. It's not a fine flour, it's a bit mealy, but it's a flour nonetheless. It's 100 grams there. And on top of these, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And the ground cinnamon really makes the oats taste so toasty and warm. A little stir. And then get on with the rest of the ingredients, which are pretty simple. This is 100 mils of milk. Now, actually, I'm using oat milk. It seems to enhance the oats themselves. Just 1 egg. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla paste or extract. But I rather like this dark, heavily scented gloop. A little whisking. Nothing too strenuous. With a bit of spilling. As with all pancakes, it's what you eat with them that really makes for the magic. And with these oat pancakes, I make a gloriously rubied honey and raspberry sauce. There's 150 grams of raspberries, and I want 150 grams of honey. Beautiful. That amber ooze. frankly, by the time the raspberries have thawed, the sauce is made. I have to say that what with the oats and the raspberries and the honey, these pancakes have a distinctly Scottish feel. And I can't help feeling that a wee nip of whiskey somewhere along in the mix would be a good thing. That makes me very happy. Now, a little oil on the griddle. And I know it looks like I'm just wiping it off, but I am actually leaving the faintest smear. I'm ready to roll. To dollop the batter on, and like a 1/4 cup measure, not filled to the brim. You can tell when it's time to flip pancakes over because little bubbles appear on the surface. So can you see there are little bubbles now, and the edges are a teeny bit darker. Lovely. I have to say, I couldn't have got away with these when my children were little, but these days I cater to a slightly more mature crowd. I've got enough mixture left for another batch, but for now, I'm pleasing myself. How could a day not be good that begins with this?
This is one of my family's favourites. It's a noodle dish packed full of warming chai flavours, perfect for keeping you going on an action-packed day out. To me, this is like the porridge, but the Bangladeshi version. And it's my favourite. It's not just about the kids, it's about me too. This is the fun bit. Crunch up vermicelli noodles and toast them. You know that smell of baking a cake? I don't know what it is about when you toast these noodles. It smells like I'm baking a cake in the house. That's probably what drags them out of bed. You gotta be careful. You can't leave this. You can't just kind of walk away because it goes from being light brown to dark brown so quickly. I'm gonna just turn that down because I don't want it to go any more. I wanna just keep that heat on, but it will turn so fast. When the noodles are ready, add a bay leaf, cinnamon stick and a cardamom pod. This gives it a chai flavour. I can already smell those spices. They've got a bit more work to do though. My mum's version of this dish has lots of butter and whole milk, but I want to do something lighter. I love mum's version and I make it all the time, but this version is like really coconut heavy. Really making something like this, I'm kind of setting the kids up. We're ready for a really long day, but all it does is make me want to stay home and eat some more. When all the coconut oil has melted, add caster sugar. I'm gonna admit that I really like it sweet. I like it really, really sweet. So I've got the coconut cream in. I'm gonna let that come to the boil and then turn it down and let it just cook slowly till those noodles are totally soft. And just for some extra coconutty goodness, I've got some coconut flakes. And these are really nice just as they are, but they taste even better when you toast them. It's worth the extra step. Breakfast is nearly ready. I am solely responsible for burning the most coconut chips in the world. You know how everybody has a preference as to how thick they like their porridge or how thin they like their porridge? This is, again, the exact same thing. If you like it really, really thick, cook it down, let it take its time, get it really nice and thick. But if you like it really thin, then, you know, add a little bit more coconut cream, loosen it up. It's up to you. This is like your porridge, but with noodles instead. That is done. That's how I like it. That is my childhood all in one mouthful. Creamy, toasty vermicelli in chai spices with my little addition of toasted coconuts. Chai-spiced vermicelli, warming, wholesome with a spicy kick. The perfect breakfast to set you up for a long day out. The one thing that drags my lot out of bed on a Saturday morning is a cooked breakfast. And this smoky spinach shakshuka does the trick. Shakshuka is a traditional Middle Eastern breakfast that literally means a mixture. It's packed with flavour and my one is dead simple. It all starts with chopped garlic and oil. So cooking up the garlic till it's just kind of a light brown. And I'm going to add some spring onion. Season and add a spoonful of tomato puree. It's got a rich, deep, concentrated flavour of tomato that you don't get with just tomatoes alone. My dad used to collect these and then dry them up and then scare us and say, look, there's a spider in my hand. My kids are at the age where they're still waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, ideally, I'd love it if they slept in a little bit longer, but our weekends start very early and end very late. So they need feeding all the time. So that is perfect. It's cooked down. You can see all the tomatoes are kind of like all mushy. That only takes a few minutes. And now I'm going to add my spices. I've got my smoked paprika. I love this stuff. Oh, my goodness. I put this in everything. And then I'm going to add some cumin seeds. And now I'm going to add my spinach. So just be careful, because they have a tendency of kind of going everywhere. A bit. Right, so... See what I mean? There you go, look. Spinach seems to want to always go rogue. It never stays put. Saturday mornings is the only time in the entire week where we just get to just sit and we can relax and we can just kind of enjoy being a family. Right now, this is when the kids come running in and they'll say they want to crack the eggs in, but not today. I'm going to leave the fun bit for me. And I just pop the lid on. It'll just take a few minutes for the whites of the eggs to poach. It's the perfect moment to toast some bread. And this is a great way to do toast on a griddle. Ow, burn your fingers. And look at that. That's got like rich, smoky spinach sauce around the outside, and the egg whites have just cooked, just poached, but the yolks I can see are still runny, and that is perfect. And then just to finish it off, I like to add just a sprinkling of chili flakes. This is such a good way to start our morning, making sure that it's given us enough fuel for the rest of the day. Smoky spinach shakshuka, the perfect start to a wind-down weekend. This breakfast is wholesome and delicious, and the beauty is you make it and you leave it in the fridge, and the longer you leave it, the tastier it becomes. My mango lassi bircher is great to make in advance, so you've always got something tasty, filling and nutritious to grab for breakfast on those manic weekday mornings. So I'm not suggesting you toast your almonds on a busy Monday morning. This is the kind of thing that I do the night before. Tinned mango pulp is the key ingredient of my bircher. You could use whatever you like. You could go wild. You could use any soft fruit. Look at that colour. That is a psychedelic bircher. Throw in a few chopped mint leaves and the zest and juice of a couple of limes. I have noticed recently at these really fancy coffee shops, you can get little pots, tiny little pots of bircher. Like, I don't feel great spending that much money and having like a teeny little bit of bircher. No. But you know what? It's porridge, it's a bit of puree. Why can't I just do this myself? And it's so much cheaper to make at home. Pour in around 200 mils of milk. So I'm using almond milk. I've got almonds in this bircher, so why not use almond milk? They just go together. That smells really good. So now, I'm gonna add my porridge oats. And my dad's not a big fan of bircher. He's like, well, you haven't cooked it, so it's not really porridge. I'm like, but it's not porridge, Dad, it's bircher, it's completely different. And he's like, I don't get you, young folk, you don't cook your oats. I was like, it's okay, Dad, it's not that bad. I still haven't convinced him yet. Straight in. This is kind of where the magic happens. These oats go from being these tiny little flakes, and they kind of soak up all that mango, the almond milk, and they become plump. And then, the last little bit, I've got my almonds. I'm gonna keep one half for topping with, and the other half I'm gonna throw in there. And that's literally it. All I need to do is cover it up. I've got one in the fridge from last night. The fab thing about this breakfast is that you can make it ahead of time and have it waiting in the fridge, ready for those busy weekday mornings. When you've got something as delicious as this in the fridge, you've got to stake your claim, or mine. I like to eat my bircher with fresh mango, a bit more freshly chopped mint, and finally the rest of the toasted almonds. Who says breakfast has to be time-consuming and tasteless? It can be delicious and wholesome and beautiful, just like this mango lime lassi bircher. Who knew easy could taste this good? This is the perfect breakfast to set you up for another busy day. Swirls are laced with coffee and chocolate and topped with a sticky espresso icing. Your guests will love them. So I'm going to start off with the filling for my Mocha swirls. And the first thing I'm going to do is add a tablespoon of butter. To the melted butter, add 2 tablespoons of espresso powder and 2 of cocoa powder, 65 grams of soft brown sugar, and 100 grams of finely chopped dark chocolate. I've just mixed that up and I'm just going to pop that to a side. That's done, ready. Now for my dough. Grab a bowl. Have you ever had a cinnamon swirl before? Well, this is like a cinnamon swirl, but without the cinnamon and with the mocha. It's such an easy thing to bake, but it makes you look so accomplished. For the dough, put 450 grams of self-raising flour, 2 tablespoons of caster sugar, and a pinch of salt into a bowl and give it a quick mix. So that's my dry ingredients. Onto my wet ingredients. So I've got 100 grams of melted butter, and then to that, I'm going to add 200 mils of milk. Make sure when you've melted your butter that it's cooled. Add a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste for flavour and 2 egg yolks. So, and this is why you want to make sure that your butter is cold, because I'm putting egg yolks in here, and I don't want scrambled eggs before I've got mocha swirls. Give everything a good mix around, and then back to my dry ingredients. So I'm going to make a little well in the centre, and then add all my wet ingredients straight in. And this is the kind of thing that I would have for breakfast. You know when somebody comes over to stay, like it beats cereal and toast. It feels like you've really made an effort. Sprinkle a little flour onto the work surface, knead and roll out the dough. Aim for around 30 by 25 centimetres. Even though I like to freestyle occasionally, I think a ruler is an essential kit for anyone who's baking. And it also makes you feel good when you get it bang on. Spread the filling evenly across the dough, making sure to get all the way to the edges. You imagine once that sugar's melted, along with the butter and the cocoa and the coffee and the chocolate. I know you can taste it in your mouth. I want to make sure that those swirls are lovely and tight, so when I cut into them, you see that gorgeous swirl Like imagine you had people over to stay, they could be in bed and you could have this in and out of the oven within, what, 45 minutes? Cut the dough into 9 equal pieces. So if you just push it with the chubby part of your hand like that, and then all the kind of dough and the coffee and the sugar and the chocolate all kind of stick together. Place them into a greased cake tin. They look like they're not going to fit, but they will. Brush with milk and pop into an oven at 180 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes. So these have been out of the oven for about 10 minutes, and look at them, you can still see the swirls, but where they've baked, they've gone lovely and golden. So these aren't finished yet. What they need is a sticky, sweet icing. For the icing, mix together 2 tablespoons of boiling water and 2 of espresso powder. Give that a little mix. Next, add a tablespoon of butter and 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. Mix until you have a thick coffee-flavoured icing. And now to that, I'm going to add 125 grams of icing sugar. Ooh, straight in. So you're going to mix that till you've got a lovely, smooth, glossy coffee icing. Oh my God, I could drink that. I'm not going to, though. So now, to put my icing on top of my swirls. Cover it enough so you've got little bits of that icing kind of running through all the swirls. And that is done. There's no being polite here. You have to get your fingers straight in and then tear it straight out. I've got coffee and breakfast all in one. Serve this for breakfast, and they're definitely staying for lunch.
Get yourself a nice ripe avocado, scoop out the flesh, stick it in a bowl, a little bit of salt and pepper, mash that up, give it a good old smash in.
Avocado is Joe's favourite hero ingredient, and for good reason. They're packed with unsaturated fats like omega-3 and 6 that help lower cholesterol. They also contain more protein than most other fruits, and they're high in fibre. So this little mean, lean super green will help you stay fuller for longer.
Next up, we're going to poach our eggs. So, get the water bubbling, but not too hot. You just want a gentle rumble. Create a little tornado, little whirlpool right in the middle of the saucepan, straight in the middle. I'm now going to show you how to make a really quick and easy, hassle-free hollandaise sauce, which tastes just as good and it's a little bit healthier. 2 big dollops of mayonnaise, a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and a little splash of white wine vinegar. Give it a little mix. Tastes amazing. With this recipe, we're ditching the muffin and we're going for some really nice, thick, deli-cut ham. Take our smashed avocado and dollop it all over the ham and rest our perfect poached eggs right on top of the avocado. Let's get saucy. Take your hollandaise sauce, give it a little drizzle, a little bit of fresh chilli, some fresh chives, and finally finish the dish off with a little sprinkle of my favourite pine nuts. Cool, look at that. That is the best Eggs Benedict I've ever seen. Quick and easy, and it's going to get you lean.
It's time to wake up to sausage and egg like you've never seen before.
First things first, get yourself some sliced chorizo, fresh spinach, and just let that wilt in, bringing all those lovely flavours together. Slow-mo tossing! Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crack 10 eggs. It's going to make about 10 muffins. I love eggs. These heroes in a hard shell are packed with healthy fats and protein to keep you fuller for longer. They contain 13 essential minerals and vitamins, including vitamin D for healthy bones. And they're cheap too. Give them a good old whisk and we're going to add in the next ingredient, which is going to be a grated courgette, some grated mozzarella cheese, sliced spring onions, and give it a good season with some salt and pepper. We're now going to add the chorizo and the spinach into the bowl. These are going to taste wicked. Give that a good old mix, take a muffin tin, give it a little bit of grease in, and we're going to get a little ladle or a big spoon and pour it into the little muffin tins. All I've got to do now is bang them in the oven for half an hour and they're done. And look, that's it, quick and easy. Egg and chorizo muffins make a perfect snack. It's reduced carb and it's going to give you loads of energy. They also taste just as good cold the next day.
Time to think outside the cereal box. No sugars, instead healthy fats to fuel you up. Joe is always filming his fast and furious recipes to post online, and if you've not seen him in action before, brace yourself.
Right, people. Oh, hang on. Right, people, I've got a message for the world. Do not fear fats. Your body needs healthy fats, and this recipe, my baked eggs and avocados, will be right up your street. Fats me up, baby. Cut an avocado in half, take out the stone, fill it with an egg, a little bit of salt and pepper. You're going to stick that in the microwave, give it a 30-second blast, and keep checking it until your eggs are cooked through. Stick some bacon under the grill. Slice it up, sprinkle it on top, a little bit of fresh chilli, and bosh, that is a lean and healthy, fats me up breakfast. That is naughty.